Welcome to Screen to Speed, Driver's Edition, where we sit down and talk with the women participating in the Screen to Speed competition. So, what exactly is Screen to Speed? Well, Screen to Speed is an all-women's sim racing competition developed for women by women that seeks to create a pipeline that brings more women into motorsports from sim racing. So, you might be asking, how does it work? It's simple. The competition is open to all women worldwide. The first step is the qualifier, where it's not just your skills on the sim track, but how you engage with your community that will determine your overall rank. From there, the top 20 women from the online iRacing qualifier will go to Las Vegas to compete in the IRL competition during the Pennzoil 400 event. The winner of this event will have the opportunity to seat in a Kelly Moss Porsche race car with a chance to show off her skill in real life. Drivers also have the opportunity to win $15,000 in the next level sim racing rig. So without any further ado, let's welcome on tonight's driver, Laci Ferno. Hey Laci, how's it going?
Oh, it's going good. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for just being a part of this competition and just making yourself available for our conversation that we'll have this evening. So, one of the things I always start with is I always, since it's a worldwide event, I'm always curious and want to know like where are all the different drivers are calling in from. So, where are you calling in from?
Well, right now I'm in Volusia, Florida. I'm usually in Mooresville, North Carolina, if you can't tell by my voice. So I'm in
Yes.
Florida, and I'm going to be watching the UMPs and sprint cars racing this week, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Oh, nice, nice. So you're deep into the racing, and I know we'll definitely get into that. So before we start talking about like your history with racing, let's first start with like sim racing. So when did you start sim racing?
In sim racing on and off for the last like 4 years. I think I actually had sim rig before I had my first outlaw cart. So I've been doing it off and on, and I'm definitely getting better at it. I was definitely not the best at it at first, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. So I've been trying to do it more
Definitely.
and more.
All right. So what is so with that, like what did you start in terms of like the game that you were playing at first?
So I started off in outlaw carts. I ran an intermediate QRC, which is just like a dirt bike motor. It's a 254 stroke, and I did that for about half a year, and then I switched over and I became a Phantom development driver, and then same motor. It was just a two stroke, but still like a dirt bike motor. And I did that for a year, and my first year I became a champion, which was pretty cool.
Wow.
And yeah, that was a fun year. But yeah, I did good that year, and then the next year I ran open outlaw carts, which is the same car, just a 450 motor, it's just four stroke, and it was kind of a weird year with COVID. It was like half the season was cut off, but
Hmm.
it was still fun. I think I did pretty good that year. I had first year I had 9 wins, and then that year I had 2 wins, and then ever since then I've been racing micro sprint cars. Definitely a lot more drivers, a lot harder to win, but I've been running pretty competitively. I was top 10 in points for a while. I think I fell out because I got sick, so
Uh,
that didn't really help. But yeah, I've been running pretty competitively in the micro stuff, and then I just recently joined Abacus Racing's new women's development team to run a part
nice.
schedule in the Extreme Outlaw Series. So
So, talk a little bit about for those people who might be watching who are not familiar with all these different cars you just named. So, what is it like a micro sprint car? And then I know you're also doing like the extreme midget racing. So, what if you for the layperson who might not be familiar with these terms and these types of race cars, can you share a little bit about what they are and what makes them different?
yeah, so a micro sprint car, it's kind of like a sprint car. If you know what a sprint car looks like, but a lot smaller. It's hyper chassis, and the motor is a motorcycle motor. I run a Yamaha R6, so it's just like normal motorcycle motor. I run PA legal, which is pretty much just stock except like two things, so pretty much stock motor. But yeah, that's what a micro is. You can run them with wings or without wings. I prefer wingless because it's more like a midget. And then midgets, I don't really know how to explain them that good. I'm like not like explaining them. They're like it's like a wingless micro, but bigger and a bigger motor. So I think I might be wrong with this, but I think it's like
That's okay.
horsepower, 400 horsepower, 900 pounds. I always get them flipped. No, wait, that does not sound right. So it's 400 horsepower, 900 pounds. So
Okay.
they're big and they're fun and they're fast and they get after it. So
All right, so listen, I mean, I think anybody watching is going to be like, okay, this young woman knows a ton about cars, but she looks like she's only like 15. I know
yeah,
you're 18, so
I got
I'll say your real age, but um, how? Like, where did this all come from? Like, you are like a breadth of knowledge when it comes to like cars and racing. Like, where did that come from?
Definitely my dad and being around my friends. I mean, the 99.9% of my friends come from the racetrack, so that's kind of like all we talk about is just racing stuff. And then my dad, he's worked in racing my whole life, and really pretty much half of his life he's worked in racing. So yeah, he's taught me everything. And then my friends, they don't let me, if I get something wrong, they'll let me know. So I know a lot of stuff from them too.
Nice, nice. So, how has this experience? So, how? Well, let me ask this question first. You've been racing, sim racing for 4 years now. How long have you been doing like in real life racing?
I've been doing real life racing also for 4 years. I started in the summer of 2018, and I've been doing it ever since. Honestly, I started thinking about it. I've only raced 2 full-time seasons because COVID cut one
Yeah.
season in half, and then I missed a few races last year because we were building the car. And yeah, I've only done about 2 full-time seasons, which is kind of crazy to think about that there's like 6-year-olds that have raced longer than me. So
So what is it like? So I mean, we have a few drivers who race both online and in real life, and I'm always curious to know, like, from them, the biggest differences when it comes to sim racing versus like IRL racing.
Especially well, I race dirt, so dirt I run dirt open wheel, so it's a lot more on throttle, slinging it, all that. But with the road course stuff, I think you definitely have to be more throttle control, smooth. You can't overdrive it, or you're gonna spin out. Learn that the hard way, like 10 times. But yeah, I think with the in person stuff, I feel like you get a better feel for it unless you have like a motion simulator, because
Hmm.
especially with mine, I only have the one screen. There's probably a technical term for this, but like the tri screens, I don't have that, so you can't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
see like left or right, and so you kind of have to get used to it and kind of get a feel for it. Especially speakers are very important. If you do not have speakers, it gets a little sketchy. But yeah,
All right.
definitely.
So okay, so back to growing up and racing. Like, how has that played out just like in your life off the track? Has it helped you? Has it hindered you? Like, what is that experience like? Are there, lessons that you've taken from the track and applied it to real life at such a young age?
Yeah, so I definitely, when I was little, I've always kind of been like super energetic and stuff. But when I was at school, I didn't really feel like I like fit in that good because a lot of people didn't like racing. Even though I'm from the South, you'd be surprised how many people don't like racing in the South. So yeah, they weren't really into it, and I just kind of felt like I didn't have anyone to talk to it about. And I was super shy, and I was always kind of a shy kid, which is kind of weird. But once I started racing and meet people that were more like me and loved racing and all
Hmm.
that, I think it definitely helped me get more comfortable talking to everyone. Like if I see someone at a racetrack, I can talk to them for an hour. I can talk to the concession stand wall for an hour at the track. Just I feel way more comfortable in like racing scenarios, and I think it's just really made me a lot more comfortable of a person.
Nice, nice. So let's jump into like screen to speed. How did you get interested, or what got you interested in screen to speed?
So I was actually at the Women Would Drive event in Charlotte. I was volunteering. I was working the jewelry stand, and I really liked. I was watching the panel Steffi was on, and I was really interested in it. And when I was little, I was absolutely obsessed with dirt bikes. I thought dirt bikes were the coolest thing in the world.
Hmm.
And she was talking about how she used to race dirt bikes, and I was like, I got to talk to this woman. She gets me. She likes dirt bikes. So I saw her, and she was about to leave, and I started talking to her, and she told me about it, and I was like, that sounds so cool. So ever since that day, I've been having it like marked on my phone, like check on this. You need to do it, and yeah. So that's kind of how I got started in it.
That's cool. That's really cool. And so, all right, you're in the competition now. Really curious to know how it's going for you. What do you think about the track? What do you think about the car, the overall competition?
I'm definitely getting better at it. It's a learning curve for sure. Like I said, I race dirt, and it's a next gen Cup car, which is like the farthest thing away from a dirt midget, but it's cool. I think it's definitely helping the. I don't know if you ever heard of GoPro Motorplex. I haven't raced, but I've tested my friends like KA 100 carts, and I'm trying to use my like 2 times of doing that like to my advantage. And I'm like, all right, it's kind of not really, sort of similar. So I was
Hmm.
like, if I just kind of approach it like this and not like a midget race, it'll definitely help. And I think once I kind of started running more, I definitely need to run more. When I get home, I'm about to do it for like 5 hours, so I look better. But yeah, I think the more I ran, the better I got, and I definitely like it. It's different, but I like different. So.
Nice. So what? So you said it's different. What about it is like different than what you're used to?
So what I'm used to is kind of just like hammer down, throttle up, just slinging it on the wall. That's like the Millbridge vibe. So definitely not like that. I don't even think there are walls. So yeah, it's a cool track though. It's definitely more smooth throttle control. Like, gotta watch what you're doing,
Mhm.
shifting and all that. Because I don't micros. You kind of shift them. Like, you have to shift them to start them, and that's about it. So you can
Yeah.
shift throughout the race, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right. So, I mean, you already race in real life, right? But this is a competition where you have the opportunity to, go from the screen to actually to the track. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on what do you think it'll be like for you to get inside of a Kelly Moss Porsche and sort of run the track there?
That would be super cool. I really hope I'm able to do that. It'll be, like I said, it'll be really different, but I think it'll definitely help me further down the road. Even if I only do it one time and stick with dirt racing, I think it'll help with my dirt racing, with especially
Yeah.
with throttle control, being smooth, just all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think it would be a really cool experience.
And also, have you ever been to Vegas?
I have not been to Vegas, no.
So this will, be your first time an opportunity to go to Vegas. What do you think about Vegas? Do you have anything that you're interested in doing while you're there beyond just going to the track, or is that your home? So,
I I don't know. I don't know if I could do a lot because I'm 18, but I want to walk around. I think, like, as dumb as this sounds, I love lights, like really like bright
yeah,
lights, and they like shimmer and stuff. So I'll probably be looking at the lights a
yes, you're
lot.
going to see a lot of lights, a whole
Mhm.
lot. Cool, cool. All right, so you have screen to speed, right? And of course, the number one thing everybody wants to do is be able to win. But what are some other things that you're hoping to take away from this experience in the competition?
Definitely iRace more. I definitely need to iRace more. So I think it's definitely motivated me to iRace more, do more different stuff outside of dirt racing. I think it's definitely helped me stay motivated doing that.
Hmm.
And then also, I look forward to meeting new people, like making new connections in the racing world. Because I mean, there, as many as it seems there are, there's really not that many girls in racing. Like, especially, there's getting more in dirt, but I feel like there's not as many in asphalt, which is like, I don't really know why, but I feel like there's definitely more girls in dirt. So it'll definitely be cool meeting new like girls in asphalt racing and seeing like what they think about stuff. And yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you brought up a really good point, right? So there aren't a lot of women in racing, and that's one of the reasons why we're doing this competition. And it's really cool, the fact that we have some pretty, big names really helping to support this event and create the foundation and the pathway for women to go from sim racing into real life racing. So of course you have Pennzoil, you have Ford, and you have like Init Esports, who's sort of like helping lead this way. And so I'm curious to know, what do you think about like these type of companies, really helping to usher in this movement?
It's definitely good. Sponsors, especially like with in-person racing and sim racing, they're super hard to come by. You'll get told no 10,000 times before you get told yes. So it's definitely cool seeing them coming in and like backing women and helping support them do what they want to do. And I really respect that. And I wish I was able to help people, but I'm like, I need the help. So it's really cool. I really think it's help. I love how helpful these companies are with supporting women in racing.
Nice. And so since you've been racing like for the last 4 years, like what has that experience been like for you? Are you racing? Do you only is it because I'm curious to know, are you racing where it's like men and women, or is it only all women, or do you do like, yeah, how do you race?
So it's kind of weird. I race at a local track, Millbridge Speedway, but
Hmm.
especially because it's in Salisbury, so it's like 10 minutes away from Mooresville. Mooresville's considered like Race City, USA. So all like the NASCAR people race there. Like, you'll be in a B main at Millbridge, you feel like you're in the Truck Series. Like, it'll be like, oh, there's Sheldon Creed. Oh, there's, I'm blanking on all of them right now, but there's a lot of them. But yeah, like weekly race, they'll usually be between probably like 35, 50 cars, and 20 make it in the A main. And I think I am the only girl, except I think there's two more. I think there's two other girls. There's definitely one other one. I can't think if there's two though. But yeah, there's not a lot out of the 50, but yeah, they do good. I think we all are pretty solid. We hold our own, and yeah.
So like, what is that experience like in, where you you sort of are a standout, right? And you're having to, go through this experience with not a lot of people or not a lot of women, next to you. Like, so what has that been like for you?
It's been good and bad. I'm not gonna lie, but it's definitely. I think it's definitely gonna be tougher. I think there's some people that are just not gonna like you because they think you're there because you're a girl and like stuff like that. But you just kind of gotta ignore it because like you can't really change their mind. It don't matter if you're go win the F1 championship. They're still gonna think, oh, that only happened because she was a girl. So you can't really like let it get to you and
Yeah.
kind of use it as like motivation to it's kind of fun to make them mad. So just do what you can to like prove them wrong. And I would definitely use it as motivation. That's probably my biggest motivation is proving people wrong, especially people that don't like girl racers. So
Wow. Well, I mean, I guess it sucks that, there are those people out there, but I'm glad that you are, blazing a trail and proving them wrong and right and really showing that, women can do this just as good, if not better, than men. So I applaud you for being able to be that trailblazer. All right, so I want to get into what I like to call my favorite things, and so I'm really curious. And since you do both sim racing and real life racing, we can answer these questions on both sides of the track. So my first question is, what is your favorite car? So what is your favorite sim car that you like to race?
I don't know. Honestly, either a 410 Sprint, which is kind of basic, or 360 wingless.
All right, and so for again the people who have no idea what that is, what is it like a 410 sprint?
So it's like a sprint car. It's like what they race in the World of Outlaws, and they're big. They're really big. I don't know as much about them, but that's what I want to eventually do. That or like NASCAR or whatever. But it's probably I would say it's kind of like the NASCAR of dirt in a way with the
Okay.
sprint cars. I mean, you can argue late models, but it's all the same. I mean, it's not all the same, but like it's the same series, and they just run different cars in it. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's just like a sprint car World of Outlaw.
All right, so that was your in real life car, or was that your sprint or your
That
sim
was
car?
that was my sim car.
Okay, and so what is your in real life car?
Midgets.
Okay, all right, nice, nice. All right, so we have that favorite track,
Ooh. Probably midgets at Lima Land.
and where's that at?
Um, that's a good question. I do not know.
It's okay. It's all right. So that was sim racing, or is that in
That's
real
sim
life?
racing, yeah.
Okay. And so, what's your favorite track in real life?
Honestly,
It doesn't
I
have to be one that you. It could just be one that you visited as well. It doesn't necessarily
okay.
have to be one that you
Honestly,
actually raced.
my favorite racetrack I've ever raced on was honestly Lincoln when I ran a midget, and that's just because that was my second midget race. That's my only other midget start, and everyone told me that was the worst track. Why'd I pick it? Blah blah blah, and all this and that. And I went
Hmm.
there, and I was like, I like this track. So I think I definitely did better at that track. I wasn't that far off. I mean, I definitely was off the pole. It was my second race. I was like 2 tenths off, but it was a fun track, and I definitely liked it. And I think it helped me definitely get a lot more comfortable in a midget. So that's why that's my favorite track.
Okay. All right. And then lastly, this is really more so sim racing more than real life racing. But what is your favorite setup in terms of like what is your like favorite wheelbase that you like to use?
I'm a big GTR girl. I love GTR simulators. They've sponsored me the last 3 years, and they make really good simulators. They're affordable for simulators, and I think they work really good. They're easy to build, and yeah, I really like GTR simulators.
Nice, nice. All right. Well, that is that segment. And before we actually jump into this last part, I want to go back because I was trying to think about like, do I want to talk about this? Do I not want to talk about this? But um, I don't. I'm not gonna say I loathe because that's not the right. That wouldn't be nice. I strongly um I guess it's not even dislike. I think it's just very difficult. Dirt racing, and so I am I am really curious to like how. My thing is like how do you do it right? Like I've tried it and I've tried it and like it's so it takes a lot.
Hmm.
And so, what is advice that you can give people? Or, and I'm also curious, like, what is it that you love about it? And I'm not, I guess I'm saying I don't like it because I just can't, I'm not really good at it.
It's
So I'm
okay.
like, so I'm like, I just every time when I play Gran Turismo, for example, and you go through like the licensing, like you always got to go on like a couple of dirt tracks. I'm just like, oh, I got to do this again. So I'm just really curious, like, yeah, what is it that you love about it? And then my other thing is like, what is advice that you can give people who might want to give it a second chance? Like, what is some advice you can give me?
Okay, so I don't blame you for not liking dirt racing. My dad actually he does not like dirt racing, which is kind of surprising. I've been with me for 4 years with it, but I love it. I love how fast it is. I think it's if you have a short attention span, it's kind of racing for you. It's I don't think I've ever ran a dirt race that's longer than 50 laps. So they're short races. They're fast paced. You're on the hammer, drop of the green. You're on it. There's no time to play around. So I definitely think it's definitely a fun thing to race. I mean, I like
Hmm.
asphalt racing too. So like I get both sides of it. But I definitely like advice for it. It's just like you can't be scared. I feel like this is like kind of a dumb statement to live by, but this is something like me and my friend always say, you gotta be aggressive or you get aggressed when it comes to dirt race or dirt
Mm.
racing. Because it's aggressive on the hammer. If you wait around, it's on. So you just gotta be on it, be on throttle, be fast, not scared, wide open, tire on the wall, just sending it.
All right. And then I'm also curious to know, so you sort of glazed over this point that you became a champion your second time out, right?
Yeah, that was my first full time season. Yeah,
Like, what was that like for you?
it was fun. I won 9 races there's two series going on at once. There's the Wednesday series and then the Saturday series, and I won the
Hmm.
Saturday series, and I think it was 12 races, and I won 9 of them.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was fun. I mean, some races, I mean, there's like 5 cars, but there's some races where there's like 20 cars. So I'm actually they're all 20 cars. So yeah, it was a fun series. I definitely think it helped boost my confidence because I felt like an old lady. I was starting racing when I was 14, and everyone else started when they were 4. So I kind of was like, oh my god, I got to figure this out, or I'm going to look stupid. So that definitely helped boost my confidence with it, and I think I. I mean, like it's cool. Like I won a championship my first year in racing.
Yeah, I mean that is definitely cool, and I mean I think that like it would boost anyone's confidence in terms of like, okay, I just won this championship. That means I'm pretty sure I can do anything,
Yeah.
So that's really cool that you've been able to like, have that experience. So before we get out of here, and before I ask you some of our final questions, let me let everyone know that if they're interested in being a part of this history that we're doing here called Screen to Speed, and we're definitely looking for more allies, please check us out at www.screentospeed.com. That's www.screentospeed.com. There is opportunities for you to come on as an ally and be able to cheer on all of these young women as they are racing to victory. And as always, we want to shout out all of our sponsors, starting with Pennzoil, and then we also have Ford, iRacing, Yahoo, Kelly Moss, and of course, Init Esports. So, as you know, we this racing is not just about what you do on the track, but it's also about what you do off the track. And so, what is some ways that people can find you and follow you and support you on your journey and Screen to Speed?
So I have pretty much every social media there is, and
Okay.
my name is at least Ferno 67. It's LACIFERNO 67, and yeah, I'm on Instagram. TikTok's my biggest platform, so I post a lot on there. So TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, literally everything. So
Nice, nice. So, okay, we have 67. So, where did that come from?
I wish it was like a deeper story, but when I was little, I was kind of dumb, and at the time,
I don't believe that, but go
one
ahead.
one 42 in NASCAR, and I was like, I loved Montoya. I thought he was the coolest driver in the world. And I was like, well, he owns the number 42. Like, no one else can ever be the number 42. Like, that is his number. And I was
Hmm.
like, well, I want to race one day. So what am I going to race? And I was like, well, there's not really any 60s, and I like number 7. So if I ever race, I'm going to be 67. And then I just kind
Nice.
of stuck with it.
Nice, nice. All right. Well, Lacey, listen, it has been great speaking with you. And before I let you go, there's always this one question I love to ask. If you could give any type of advice to any young woman or little girl who wants to get into sim racing or just racing in general, what is something that you could offer, especially with you being, you know, so almost veteran in the game, but yet so young, right? Like, what is some advice that you can offer? a little girl who's interested in getting into racing?
Don't give up. And as corny as that sounds, you can't be scared. You gotta be aggressive, and usually you're going to be more aggressive than the guys are because they're gonna. A lot of people think just because you're a girl, they're gonna be better than you, and you just kind of gotta be like, no, you're wrong, and then just beat them. So you're definitely gonna be aggressive. Don't like forget why you're there. They're gonna definitely try to tear you down and be like this and that, but if they're not saying stuff about you like driving wise, that means you're good. So like, oh, I don't like her, she's mean. It's like, oh, well, you got nothing to say about me but driving.
Nice.
Yeah, just don't care. Just be like, well, I don't care. Like I win. So just ignore people, and well, not ignore people, but ignore the doubters and focus and do good.
Nice. Well, I mean, I believe that like these are some very powerful words from, a very powerful person, and I've had such an honor, and a pleasure to speak to you. And I wish you so much luck and, enjoy both in your real life racing as well as in the Screen to Speed competition. And definitely look forward to seeing you in Vegas. So with that being said, thank you everyone for just tuning in. And thank you again, Laci, for just sharing your story and, sharing your experiences with us as well.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on. It's been fun.
All right. Take care, everyone.